Hi Warham fam, welcome back to our channel. I'm Debbie.
I'm Darren.
And this is an update. So I've got
everything
on everything because so much tied in together. Not going to go into massive detail on some of the bits, but I'm going to give you the broad outline basically. Right, so Kutch update. Because of the next few items, you'll understand why it's been put back. Also, guys, while the weather is this hot, I don't deal well in the heat. And it would not be sensible for me to go and sit over where basically it means the fans can't get to us as well. Yeah. So I'm thinking that it's going to be more sort of autumn time now. I could be wrong, and it may come out sooner.
I say one of the chairs we've got, which could be a cush corner bit, has got a fan on it at the moment. So.
Yeah, and it blasts both of us where we're sitting, so it's sort of, you know. That being said, we'd be behind anyway, to be fair. Autumn might be a bit further off than it's actually going to happen. It might be sooner than that, so just bear in mind. Right, now then, to explain why... Right, so you guys know a little while ago I went to the Opticians, and
glasses on a birthday.
That's right. It turned out to be the worst day to do it because I ended up with my head in a cauldron, and I do mean that literally, for the entire rest of the afternoon, evening that I was in. It made me very, very ill.
Yeah.
I'm not actually, the stairs cause me a great deal of pain, but it's more with what goes on inside of my body. I'm not supposed to do stairs and bits. So there's the reason behind that. Now, when I went to the optician, we paid for the £10 extra test because I can't get out easily. Yeah. I can't really. This is the problem. I knew my eyes had been affected, and it had been 8 years since my last eye test, and I can't get out for the diabetic check one. So they basically found something that I thought they said eye bombs, but they said eye bumps, and they were concerned. So they contacted our doctors straight away, and they also contacted the hospital for me to see the proper optometrist, basically. Now, this is not the same people as the diabetic one, because it was a bit different to that. So after the day after the opticians, all hell broke loose, really. We had the surgery contacting me about different things. We had a letter come through from the hospital really quickly, and basically we were worried about my sight because we didn't know how badly things had gone. The doctor had been
at the back of the eye.
That's right. The doctor actually came over to me a few times, checking different bits, and they were worried about my kidney functions, my liver functions, and so on. That's still fairly up in the air anyway with bits, because it's other things that are more important at the moment. So I had to get out for the eye appointment. I knew it was incredibly important. It was not easy, and it hurt, and I was really, really stressed. So I think I saw 4 different doctor peoples regarding it. Anyway, it got to the point where he said I probably will need some sort of laser surgery later on, and he started to ask me some questions, and he decided to take my blood pressure. Now, my blood pressure has been high because I got taken off of blood pressure tablets when I came out of hospital a few years ago.
In 2020.
In 2020. So, yeah, they didn't inform the doctor's surgery they'd done this, and I didn't know I was supposed to. So essentially, things got a little bit difficult. And anyway, he took my blood pressure, and then all of a sudden my eyes were completely forgotten, because my blood pressure went incredibly high. In fact, the machine kept flashing high, 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 and it was lighting up, and there was bells and whistles. Honestly, it was like an air raid siren, only with the words high, high, high. Anyway, he contacted the. It was over 200 basically, but he contacted A&E because he wanted to send me over there. My anxiety levels were through the roof at this point. I was in a great deal of pain, and I was incredibly stressed with the whole situation. I'm not particularly good with hospitals, and they usually find more and more things wrong, which is why I don't like going to them.
Yeah, but obviously they wanted to he wanted advice because they're always worried that you're going to stroke out if you go that high. You know, so it's,
yeah, I was in danger of a stroke or heart attack basically, and he contacted the specialist over there anyway, and I think they decided, because my anxiety at that point and my blood pressure at that point, it wasn't helping. So he wrote a prescription out for a tablet for me to take as soon as possible, to get my blood pressure down. And we ended up waiting over an hour, actually, for the incredibly important tablet. But I didn't care because I was outside at that point and just, away from everything that does make me anxious, basically. So I calmed down a little bit when I knew I didn't have to go into the emergency bit, because they have a nasty habit of keeping me in the resus area, because outwardly I look okay, apart from obviously I'm a wheelchair user and I look like I'm in pain, but I don't look like a lot of people do when things like this are going on internally, which is the problem. So yeah, I took the tablet. By that time it had hit rush hour, and trying to get where we are, there's only one road in and out, and it's like a car park at rush hour. It's a nightmare. So rather than me being more stressed and just in absolute agony, we decided, we'll pop down to the local Asda and I can pick some fresh fruit for myself, sort of thing. £9 a watermelon in Asda. £9.
It was quite a big watermelon, but it wasn't £9
It wasn't Dirty Dancing big. I'm telling you guys, the price was extravagant, to say the least. And also their fresh fruit and their veggies and their salad stuff, it was going brown. I mean, I'm not being funny, but it's the sort of stuff you might throw away at the end of the bit. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I didn't get to choose my lovely fruit and vegetables, and they didn't have anything in the closed bit. And then the till evidently decided to go wrong, and we ended up coming out with nothing, which was fine, because realistically we were just killing time anyway, and the stuff that we wanted to get, like odds and bods, they didn't have.
No.
But we know that retail therapy has, it's precisely that. It does have a way of calming me down, but it was a horrible day. It really was. I was in a hell of a lot of pain, very, very poorly, and had to be given this medication. Anyway.
Yeah, so by the time we came out of there, it was gone back 6:15 anyway, so the road would be pretty clear.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was.
So, right, slurp of coffee, hang on. Right, so, by the time I got back up the stairs, which really isn't funny at all, I was not very well. Anyway, it was a bit like after the whole thing with the opticians. My doctor's surgery phoned me the next day specifically to ask me how it went, which was handy because there was a problem with their phone lines, and I was in trouble getting through, bless them. Anyway, I ended up being on the phone for over an hour with the nurse, And yeah, it transpires that my blood sugar is also too high because of a couple of the medications I take. It affects blood sugar really badly. It makes it shoot up. Now, I don't know if any of you know anything about blood sugars, but she said if you're reading 18, don't worry about it. It's the medication. Now, you're not actually supposed to go over 7. So that was a problem, and my blood pressure was horrendously high. Even where I hadn't moved, it was still in the high hundreds. So it was like 190 something, 180 something. And that was with me not moving at all. We also found out me repositioning my pillows makes my blood pressure shoot up as well. So doing the most basic of things. So it was straight, I can't do the stairs at the moment because they could potentially kill me. And that's not an exaggeration, as I said. So yeah, that's the blood sugar, that's the blood pressure, that's my eye situation. It's sort of like the eyes, they're hoping, once they've regulated everything else, they're hoping that it will ease off a bit. And they're also hoping that, he said, I'm going to need laser at some point, but it's not like the glass replacement one where you have, it's not like that, it's to do with the back of the eye.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been going on. And also Darren's had some medical bits which have been fun. He does suffer with sleep apnea, so sometimes if you find the phone a bit, like the picture a bit shaky, or if the picture starts going off, it's because he's falling asleep. Okay. Now
because Debbie's boring me. Yeah,
I am that boring. We'll go through a shopping list online and he'll be dozing off, and it's an absolute nightmare. But yeah,
Christmas. I was in the middle of a conversation and fell asleep.
You did, yeah, you were, yeah. I think it was the first time they saw how bad it can get. Darren's also got issues with his knee. He's also got issues with, I think they keep thinking there's massive
breathing, but it may not be breathing. It could be my heart. So turns out I've got one. How about that then?
It's a very big heart. That one, but yeah, so I ummed and ahed for a while, and I was incredibly stressed. So I had to wait until I was ready to talk about this, which is why, you might have found our videos lately a little bit forced, because obviously we've had a hell of a lot on our minds. And I know that, my pet hate is that, people haven't got a right to know your health bits. And like I said, I'm not going into major detail. But I feel that, you guys are part of our family, and we know you seem to genuinely care. So we made the decision to let you know what was going on. Also, I mean, we were a bit sidelined by this. We weren't expecting anything like this to happen. And I was talking to medical people who were talking to me all week that week. I've got 2 different people coming up for blood tests for different things, and it's just an absolute nightmare. Darren's got different hospital appointment bits. So, there's been a lot going on, and it's been very, very hot, which basically means that I melt, and it's very uncomfortable. I do not find hot weather at all pleasant. And it also makes me more achy, which is in certain bits, not in others, which is weird. But yeah, that's how it is. So hence why Kutch is so behind. Technically, actually, I've done thinking well, because the aesthetic bit that's part of Kutch Corner, I've nearly
the aesthetic bit that's barely going to be seen.
Yeah, I know, but
because it's going to be filmed from over there, so you'll just catch the edge of it if you're lucky.
No, we will do a reveal video properly once we've got it all sorted. But another thing with our health issues, it does mean that it's quite restrictive on what we can do. So it's it is, you sort of have to take us how you find us a little bit, to be honest. So if there's a bit of dust, what have you, I always say it's down to the fairies, and I'm sticking with that, and not the fact that I'm not supposed to anyway, because of the asthma side of things. Yeah. But anyway...
the dust puts itself there itself, it can clean itself off itself as well.
Well, I keep hoping the hamster's going to wake up in the night and get busy with it, but no chance. I mean, we haven't got a cat, because Mum's cat goes behind the sofa, goes behind places where you don't normally get to, and they come out covered in either bits of fluff or cobwebs, and, you know, that's really handy. So if any of you have used your cats as a duster, please let me know. Right, so that's a broad interpretation of different bits. Also, while all of this was going on, Mishka started getting quite poorly. I don't know whether she was mimicking off of me, but what I do know is she's got a bit brighter. I did not want to leave her. That was another thing that caused a lot of anxiety. I did not want to leave her because she's
puffed out a bit more now as well, because she was. You could feel her backbone.
Yeah, she's gained a bit of weight. She's not panting. She's actually been in the ball for the longest time that she's actually been in there for a very long time. Because she's actually manoeuvring herself back. And we've also had problems with Vic. He's had severe hay fever, which has affected his eyes, and unfortunately he is now blind in both eyes. Yeah, not just one.
We think when he was washing it, it was irritating. He was trying to wash it. We reckoned he scratched his eye.
But after 5 days of me bathing it constantly, you know. Yeah. It's not puffy anymore, it's not stuck together, and he can't see out of it, but he is healthy. In fact, to be perfectly honest, he has
baby fluff.
He has got baby fluff, yes. He looks like a snowball, quite literally. He'll roll into a little ball and he looks like a snowball, which, to be fair, a lot of them do lose after a while, because they obviously they do lose weight as they get older, but his fur's like it was when he was a baby, so evidently the bathing and his constant sand baths he's been having, and going through sand like nobody's business, because obviously we don't want it to be, especially while he had a problem with his eye, we didn't want anything getting in it, so we've been incredibly careful and been changing him out of bits. And he's doing well, but he's gone in the ball for the first time today, and he was a little bit unsure of himself. He just sort of sat down by me. So I popped Mishka in the ball. She wanted to go in it last night anyway, and it was too hot. So popped Mishka in the ball, and he's happy as Larry, wandering around after her. So, you know, that is the update for the hamsters. The two Syrian boys, they've been fine, apart from the fact that none of my hamsters like this heat. No. They are very fluffy. They hate it with a passion. I mean, obviously both the boys have got severe fluff. I mean, they're long-haired hamsters. It's even worse for Pan, because his fur is even more dense than his. And Tyrion's had hay fever as well. He gets a little bit of a runny nose. Nothing major. No. And he spends most of his time wiping it on me, to be perfectly honest. Children are lovely, aren't they? They're quite disgusting, but, you know, you don't care because, you know, at the end of the day, it's hamster snot. It's better than ogre bogies, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Right, so that's the update as far as the hamsters are concerned. So, have I got anything else? Yes. I want to apologise because we are behind on the YouTube channels that we watch. Some of you guys obviously do YouTube channels yourself, so you've got Journey into the Realm, who I am extremely behind on.
Drusilla Dreadful.
No, I wasn't struggling. I was Journey into the Realm, who fantastic videos, guys, seriously. Drusilla Dreadful, who is fabulous, and she has got a few with you can hear her daughter in the background as well. She's so cute. And then you've got Pink Poodle as well, and she sometimes has her grandchildren with her. Lily's absolutely gorgeous. She really is. So, you know, I am behind. Drusilla's, I think I've more or less caught up on. I don't tend to watch the Enchanted soap ones, only because I really don't want to find... well, how can I put this? We have got tons and tons and tons of soaps and bits like that, because we used to sell bits like that. So basically, I tend to avoid watching those, only because I know that I'll be tempted, and seriously, I really do not need to be tempted with anything else that I really do not need. Just remember though, Lego and building bricks and craft bits and things like that, I consider that as essential to my mental health as well as my physical health. So that's different. Unfortunately, they do not do Lego on prescription. That being said, we've been searching around for different bits and bobs, and I've got, oh, seriously guys, I've done quite a few different craft bits, and honestly, I know, you know, we have got some amazing things to show you.
Yeah, so but there's only one a week going on.
Yes.
Goes on Wednesday, Witchcraft Wednesday.
I think I've got enough up till Halloween, haven't I?
We're into nearly December now.
All right. So yeah, bearing in mind, I haven't actually. I've
so
still
plus
behind
stuff you've got down there, we're probably in the next year.
I've still got Halloween and Christmas crafts that I haven't done yet, and bits like that. I sort of get a bulk of bits up when they come out, and then I go through phases on different things. At the moment, I'm on Hello Timotei. There you go. Tizzy's fine. No, I do tend to... It keeps my sanity. It's one thing I can suggest, actually, guys. If I know quite a few of you are housebound or restricted and things like that. Now, the worst thing you can do is sit in a chair and think about your health. Doesn't do you any good. Doesn't mentally, physically do you any good whatsoever. So I very much, this is why I say my craft bits are absolutely essential. Now, I know some of you can't do certain ones, but there's always something out there. So it's definitely worth looking around at different options and things like that. Even if it's buying funky makeup and practicing different styles, or baking or gardening and bits like that. Do a little of what you can do that makes you happy. It's the best thing for it, honestly, because mentally it does you better to be accepting of what the situation is, which is, and it is not easy. It's not easy to accept certain things, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, this is sort of like why I decided that I'd do this catch-up video and say about the medical side of things, because I do not want to keep having to mention it. Obviously, guys, if something's on my mind, it tends to come out of my mouth. But I tend to rather talk about the hamsters and things like that with you. Anyway, I think that's the updates for now. Obviously, there will be shorter updates when things change and bits like that. So we'll try and keep you in the loop, as it were. But as I said, if I do go quiet at any point, or some of you realise that I'm not watching videos or commenting on them, please don't worry. It just, sometimes I have to take myself away from things to get my head round the situation that's going on. So I thought I should give an explanation of that, because sometimes I can be quite quiet. If it's like a box, I love the boxes, I love opening the boxes, but if I seem a bit preoccupied, that's why. Basically, that is why. Anyway, I'm going to leave it on that note because I think I've absolutely covered everything I wanted to cover. Although I guarantee you, the minute Darren puts down the phone, I'll go, I didn't mention. It happens every time. As I said, please don't worry. We're under all the right people. It's just a case of getting things sorted. So, my lovelies, as always, be different. A very merry on hoo-hoo. And Henry...
Betty Boop.